Could Franck Kessie be Liverpool's next transfer target? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Yes, today's video we are talking about the Barcelona midfielder known as Franck Kessie. Could he be on his way out of Barcelona this summer, only a year after obviously joining the club, with Liverpool apparently linked with signing him in this upcoming transfer window? That's going to be what we're talking about in this video, but before we go any further, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things always are very greatly appreciated. And I also encourage you to get involved in the comment section as well. Would love to know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it on this particular topic down below in the comment section, because I'm sure it'll make for interesting reading. Otherwise, let's get on with the video. Let's talk Franck Kessie and a possible move to Liverpool. Look, first and foremost, I'll say this. I'm intrigued by this. This is a player that I've admired for a few years now, and a player that I thought could actually add something to this Liverpool team. Like I said earlier, he joined Barcelona a year ago on a free transfer from AC Milan, and I remember in the build-up to obviously his contract expiring at AC Milan, I talked about him a couple of times, and I said that he's a player that I admire. He brings certain aspects to a squad that I think Jurgen Klopp would like, and I think that he would be a very underrated piece of business by whoever did eventually snap him up on that free transfer, which of course was Barcelona. A year later though, it hasn't quite panned out the way that Kessie was expecting. He's found it difficult to break into that Barcelona midfield on a more consistent and permanent basis. He's only made 28 appearances this season in La Liga, scoring 1 goal and assisting 1 time. In comparison to his last season with AC Milan, he made 31 appearances, scoring 6 goals. Those 28 appearances for Barcelona have been obviously scattered here and there. Substitute appearances mainly. And of course, when you've got a midfield of Gavi and Pedri and Busquets, it's going to be obviously very difficult for him to kind of break into that starting 11 on a more consistent basis. But in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with his quality. There's nothing wrong with his ability. It's just he's found it difficult to cement a position. And when you look at it from all perspectives in this potential move, it would suit everybody down to the ground. It would suit everyone down to the ground. When you look at, obviously, from a Liverpool point of view, they're after midfielders. He ticks that box as a midfielder. I think he is the type of midfielder that Jurgen Klopp likes. He's industrious. He works hard. He's got high energy, big work rate. He's got good technical ability, good ball retention. That's basically what Klopp would look for in a high energy type of midfielder that Kessie can obviously provide. He can provide that high energy. He can provide everything along those lines that make a good midfielder in Jurgen Klopp's eyes, to really suit his system, to suit the way that he wants to play. It could be an interesting it could be an interesting avenue to explore. There is rumours swirling around that are stating that Liverpool could be ready to table a £30 million bid, and he could be available for somewhere in that region, financial wise. So again, it suits Liverpool down to the ground in terms of what FSG look for in a price tag, the kind of price tag that FSG are looking for in that kind of ballpark for this kind of player. And of course, at 26, 27 years of age, Kessie is prime age for hitting near enough the peak of his powers, having experience, just being that kind of player to come into a squad, be experienced enough to know what he's doing, grow a little bit and be moulded into a new squad. It might suit him down to the ground. It might suit him, might suit the squad. And it might suit him even more because he's moving to a new league. It's a fresh start. Away from Barcelona, where he's found it a little bit difficult. Like we say, he's found it difficult to break into that midfield permanently. It could very much suit him, and it could suit him to play at a club that is obviously big, historic. Not ideal that he won't be in Champions League football for next season, but again, he could definitely help, and we have seen players go from Champions League clubs to Europa League clubs in the past, because they've bought into the project, they've bought into the vision of the manager and of the club. So it's not completely out of the realms of possibility for a player who definitely has got Champions League football right now to want to go and play Europa League football for next season. It could be very interesting, this one. And from Barcelona's point of view, they're going to get some money from him, which overall is what they're looking for most, because they've got crippling debts, they've got horrific debts at that obviously needs some sort of payoff. And Kessie could be an asset worth selling to bring in a bit of money that might help them in the long run, and that will obviously happen. Kessie came in on a free, they'll sell him whilst he's entering his prime, should we say. Might get a bit more money for him than the 30 million. We'll have to wait and see on that, if that obviously does come to fruition or not. And Barcelona are happy. Barcelona move a player on, they get some money from him when they got him on a free transfer originally. Barcelona are therefore happy with what they've got. It'll be interesting though, because it depends whether there's some weight behind this. This has been thrown around and talked about today. That's caught my eye, and I wanted to kind of throw it out there and gauge the opinion of Liverpool fans and fans alike as to how good of a transfer this may be. Like I say, for me, I quite like this guy. I quite like what he brings to the table in terms of what he could do to this Liverpool squad in general, how he could improve it, how he could just basically beef it up in terms of quantity and quality. I quite like this signing, and like I say, I think it suits Liverpool down to the ground in terms of a Jurgen Klopp type of player, in terms of the transfer fee that could be agreed between the clubs for him. I just think that this would be a good type of signing to maybe keep your eye on going forward. Is it the best option out there? Maybe not necessarily. Obviously, we have talked about other midfielders that Liverpool could be after in the past, and obviously with Alexis McAllister coming in as well, we talked about that yesterday in detail, and we talked about how he will improve this Liverpool squad, with obviously his deal edging ever closer, with obviously medical and official confirmation yet to be put out there in the public domain, but obviously that is all to take place supposedly this week. Kessie could be another worthy addition. Like I say, for 30 million, a worthy addition going forward. You bring him in for a couple of years, and then maybe you move him on as well. Like maybe he's not the finished type of player. Maybe he's just a player to get to the finished type of player. But maybe he could be a worthy asset for the here and now. Then in a few years' time, you can look at maybe moving him on for a similar or maybe even higher price, depending on how well he does at Liverpool, should obviously this move go ahead. But there is obviously question marks over whether there is legitimacy and concrete kind of concrete reports on this. Nothing's ever set in stone. Nothing's ever completely genuine. So we'll wait and see whether or not these reports hold any weight or any sort of truth behind them, shall we say, before obviously making complete judgment. But this is just interesting to talk about, in my opinion. The report goes on to state that maybe Liverpool could face competition in signing Franck Kessie. Now, allegedly, Inter Milan are involved. It'd be interesting to see if that obviously pays off, because having played for AC Milan previously, will Kessie be one of these players to have played for both Milan clubs in his career? That could be interesting to note. Maybe he wants to go back to Serie A. That could also be a factor in this as well. Maybe he wants to go back to Italy. That could be a factor. So it'd be interesting to see if that holds any weight as well. And there's also alleged interest from fellow Premier League club Tottenham. Now, of course, the news today is that Ange Postecoglou has officially been appointed as the new Tottenham manager. That is done, dusted and official as far as what Tottenham and the footballing world is now concerned. Is Kessie a player that Postecoglou likes? Is he a player that he thinks is a priority? Is he a player that he thinks will improve this Tottenham squad. Obviously, time will tell on that. There is talks of Tottenham having a big overhaul this summer, having a big clear out. Is that still going to make him a priority? Are there going to be other priorities out there? How much money have Tottenham got to spend? There's a lot of question marks up in the air about Spurs right now, and I feel like if Liverpool's interest is legitimate, they may need to move quickly on this one. And it's not just because the fear of maybe a Tottenham side taking him off him, but Liverpool want to get their transfer business done anyway. And let's face it, Liverpool have got the history factor and, of course, the here and now factor of winning trophies, being under Jurgen Klopp, a quality top-class manager, and having some world-class players within their ranks. It's a no-brainer, in my opinion, given the choice of a Liverpool or a Spurs. Throwing Inter Milan in that mix, and I think the only pull maybe that Inter has over Liverpool maybe in this scenario is obviously the chance to return to Italy, the chance to return to Serie A, and going from there. It'll be interesting to see this one. Like I say, I don't know how much weight there is behind this, but I am interested in the potential of this transfer story. I am interested in seeing if this obviously does come to fruition, because like I say, this is a guy I've admired for quite a while. Quite like the look of him. Quite like the what he brings to the squad in terms of energy, work rate, technical ability, ball retention, that kind of thing. And I think that he could do a good job for Liverpool in the present and maybe a few years down the line as well. So those are just my thoughts, my comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. This guy, I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of the news that Franck Kessie may be on Liverpool's radar going forward into this upcoming transfer window, as well as maybe attracting interest from Tottenham and Inter Milan? I'd love to know your guys' thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it on this particular topic down below in the comment section, because I'm sure it'll make it interesting and great reading. Otherwise, hit that like button on the way. I've enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always very greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video. I'll see you all again soon in another video.